A very good evening and welcome to Granada Reports. First this evening, the father of a young police officer killed in the line of duty is welcoming the promise of a tough new law to ensure victims and their families get justice. Harper's Law will mean anyone who kills a member of the emergency services doing their duty will face a mandatory life sentence. Bryn Hughes' daughter, PC Nicola Hughes, was murdered in 2012. He's pleased the new law's coming in, but says he's concerned about how many times it will actually be used in the courts. Our correspondent, Elaine Wilcox, has more.
I think the change in the law is long overdue, actually, if I'm honest.
Bryn Hughes' daughter Nicola was a serving police officer when she was murdered with a colleague in what was described as premeditated savagery 9 years ago. He's supporting mandatory life sentences for those who kill emergency workers, but still has concerns.
I think frustrated and disappointed that it's actually taken, the widow, it's somebody in the same position as me, losing my daughter, having to fight for justice, if you like, and a change in that justice system.
Well, thanks for coming in. I hope we've got some good news in being able to launch Harper's Law today.
Harper's Law, as it's called now, has government backing after PC Andrew Harper's widow campaigned for tougher sentences. He died after being dragged behind a gang's getaway car. His teenage killers were found guilty of manslaughter and not murder.
I think it sends a message to those who lead those sorts of lives, who commit crimes, who have no remorse for taking innocent people's lives away, and it will tell them that we won't stand for this.
The law will mean a life sentence for anyone who commits the murder or manslaughter of an emergency worker on duty. That includes police, prison officers, firefighters and paramedics. But it will only apply if the offender's already carrying out another crime when they kill, unless there are exceptional circumstances. In Bryn's daughter's case, Dale Cregan was sentenced to life without parole after admitting murdering Nicola Hughes and Fiona Bone in Tameside, but Bryn says emergency workers are still easy targets.
We expect the emergency services workers to turn up as quickly as possible. What we don't expect them to be is attacked when they get there. And I think that needs to be reflected.
We had 10,000 convictions for assault on emergency workers in the last year alone. So this is also about just demonstrating to all the emergency workers who put their lives on the line for us that we've got their backs.
And just by saying there's 10,000 assaults on emergency services workers this year alone, I think that proves that deterrent's not working.
Bryn's on the Ministry of Justice Victims Panel, which hasn't met for almost 2 years. He hopes this isn't just a populist move to win votes, but does result in more protection to those working to protect us. Elaine Wilcox, ITV News.
Well, next this evening, and flowers have been left outside a house in Preston where a couple were stabbed to death. Lancashire police have confirmed Tricia Livesey, who was 57, and Anthony Tipping, who was 60, were discovered dead at the address at the weekend. A man has been detained under the Mental Health Act. Tim Scott has the latest from Higher Walton.
Yes, this small community of Higher Walton, around 3.5 miles from the centre of Preston, understandably shocked today at what happened here over the weekend. Police were called to the house behind me on Cann Bridge Street at around 1:40 on Saturday afternoon. Concerns had been raised about the people who lived there. Officers had to force their way in, and when they did, they found the bodies of 2 people inside. Post-mortem results show that both had died of multiple stab wounds. Later on Saturday, police arrested a 35-year-old man on suspicion of murder. He's now being detained under the Mental Health Act. The family of the victims are being supported by specialist police liaison officers, and a murder investigation is still ongoing. Police are asking for anyone with information about what happened here to come forward as soon as possible. Tim Scott, ITV News, Higher Walton.
A former imam has told the inquiry into the Manchester Arena attack the bomber Salman Abedi gave him hateful looks after a sermon he gave opposing Islamic State. Mohammed El Saiti says he received death threats following his dismissal from his post in 2020 after raising concerns about extremist groups meeting at the mosque in Manchester. A former Lord Mayor of Liverpool has left the Labour Party, accusing it of wasting time on petty personality politics. Councillor Anna Rothery, who became the city's first black Lord Mayor in 2019, will now sit as an independent today. She says she's frustrated at people fighting amongst each other while residents look for leadership to help them through despicable times. The Labour Party has declined to comment. On to sport, and Manchester City have secured their place in the knockout stages of the Champions League after a 2-1 win against Paris Saint-Germain. Goals from Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus mean the Blues will go through as group winners. Meanwhile, Liverpool, who are unbeaten in the competition, secured a 2-0 victory over FC Porto. On last night's programme, we reported on Burnley legend John Pender, who's been left struggling to walk after being diagnosed with motor neurone disease 2 years ago. His family were trying to raise £10,000 to improve his quality of life, and thanks to your donations, that total has not only been reached, it's been surpassed.
Personally, we would like to thank everybody for their donations.
The outpouring of support and generosity and kind donations that our family have received has been really overwhelming. You've truly lifted John's spirits and in turn ours, and we just want to say a really big thank you from both of us.
Now, a dancer from Manchester is taken to the stage in the Nutcracker Ballet at the Lowry Theatre. Isaac Bowery feared he'd be rejected from the profession due to his background, but is now touring with one of the most reputable dance companies in the world. Victoria Grimes reports.
It was during a production of the Nutcracker here at the Lowry that Isaac first fell in love with ballet. And today he's back. But this time, it's him starring in the show, in a brand new production created by the most famous man in dance, Sir Matthew Bourne.
It is the dream come true in so many ways, but also the hard work to make it happen, to get myself to where I am, you know.
Well, you've said that when you were that age, when you first saw that production of the Nutcracker here, that you didn't think that dance was something that was for you.
You know, growing up in Wythenshawe, there wasn't many other people who had darker skin tones. Going into performing arts and my dance training, most of the people I saw were lighter than me. And then seeing a lot of stage productions, most of their cast are lighter than me. So yeah, it is that moment of like, do I belong here? But then when I saw New Adventures before, there were people darker than me, loads of different nationalities and races and racial heritage. And that was a moment of going, I do belong. I'm now the person going out to the schools and being that person to go, you can do this. I see raw talent, we can support you get there.
And it's that determination to give back that's drawn admiration from Sir Matthew Bourne himself.
It starts at grassroots level. It's about training, it's about inspiration while you're at school, and this is how things will get better. And Isaac now, in his own way, is part of that inspiration for young people who come to see our shows. And that's wonderful. You know, he's not only been inspired himself, but now he's inspiring young people.
This is really exciting. The Nutcracker, brand new production.
It's not ballet as people know it. It's not tutus, it's not point shoes. It follows the story of Clara, who's the heroine, which ends up in Sweetie Land, the land of sweets, where she meets all these characters like the Gobstopper Boys, the Marshmallow Girls.
You're playing a licorice ore sorter here.
Yeah, I do want to be a marshmallow. They are a very fun character. I'm waiting for that chance, but fingers crossed.
Joe's got the weather.
Oh, I love a hot shower and a cold day, me.
And a minute shorter than usual.
What a legend.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello again, a very good evening to you. Some stormy weather to end this week and cold conditions too, with the risk of some sleet and snow up on higher ground as we go Friday night into Saturday, and some strong winds across the board. One thing's for certain, it's going to feel chillier from tonight with a touch of frost in many places, showers petering out over the next few hours, dry conditions under clear skies and pretty cold rurally, down to around freezing or just below as we head into the early hours of Thursday morning. Most of us will see some nice sunshine to start the day tomorrow, with the sun rising at 5 to 8, setting at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. frosty in places as well to start the day. We've got that blast of northerly air, some gusty winds around our coast, which will increase in strength over the next few days. Some lovely sunshine, but it's a wrap-up warm sort of day. Dry, fine, 5 or 6 Celsius, perhaps a little chillier for the likes of Buxton. And as we go through into tomorrow night, those winds increasing in strength again. So very gusty conditions during Friday. A Met Office warning in place to cater to that. And further spells of showery rain turning to sleet and snow up on higher ground Friday night into Saturday. A very windy day across the board on Saturday itself. Good night.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Oh, hello.
Get him a towel.
Finally, if you're watching this evening's Granada Reports, you'll have seen our piece on the Liverpool football fan who's raising £50,000 to pay for his very own robotic arm, while Adam Kent is now well on the way to reaching his goal, having raised over £16,500 this evening. Well done to him. We'll be catching up with Adam again on tomorrow night's Granada Reports, but for now, have a great evening. Bye-bye.